Hey friends, we're gonna be doing something different today. I actually have my brother recording today, which is gonna be a big help. But today we're gonna do a maintenance call. I'm gonna teach you how to do a maintenance call with just simple tools. You don't need to get expensive tools, but doing a maintenance call from beginning to end, and just to kind of show you a little bit of what we got going on right here. I'm just gonna take the camera just briefly from my brother, and I got my backpack full of stuff. And if you're out in the field, this is common. You get a backpack full of a bunch of stuff, and me, this is my pet peeve. I like things to be organized. That's why I do have a little, like a little tray that we use if we have to go up in the attic. Fortunately, this house, the indoor unit is in the closet, so we don't need to bring that. So we'll bring this, and I'll show you what I got inside right now. But yeah, my truck is not the messiest, but it could be a little bit more organized. I got all my binders here, everything that I study, and just a bunch of other stuff. So, but you're not here to see what I have in my truck. You're here to see how I'm gonna perform this maintenance call from beginning to end. So I'm gonna give this back to my brother, and I think we have everything. So, all right, so let's go. And I'm big on light, so I have my headlamp. I have another light that I have here, and so my eyes are just getting worse and worse. So I just need light all the time. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure everything's closed. I'm in a nice area, so I'm not gonna lock it. Just kidding. Always lock your truck. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock that. Okay. So here, like I said, I got my backpack, and actually, before we go inside the house, I'm gonna show you what I have here, and then you can we'll go ahead and zoom in a bit. So here, like I said, if your backpack is cleaner and more organized than this, good for you. Be that person. Me, I know what I can find. Things are a little bit crazy here, but you'll see what I mean right now. So I got my alligator clips. I am gonna be using my S-Mans 480 to read superheat, subcool, low side pressure, high side pressure. But if you don't have digital gauges, then you're gonna have to use your regular analog gauges with a meter for your temperature clamp so you can get superheat and subcool. But I'll be using my S-Mans today. I got a little funnel to check if the water is draining, right, for the condensation. So I got my water, my funnel. Of course, I got my meter. And then I have a little rack just in case we need it. I have my drill. I brought duct tape because you never know if there's a duct that got loose. But this one, you'll see why I bring the duct tape sometimes. Let me open up my backpack more. Crimper, just in case I have to put a new female connector, a level, right? Crescent wrench. So these probably I wouldn't need for this job because it's just the maintenance. I got my channel locks. But I do have my brush. Always bring a brush. You got my 11-in-1 screwdriver. I have my temperature gun. And of course, 3-amp fuses. And I got a lot of 3-amp fuses. You never know what can happen as you do the maintenance call. And I have a little stubby. Okay? So that's all I'm taking, right? Really though, all you need is to read temperature, 11-in-1, a meter, a drill, and a brush. Honestly, with these things, you would be able to do a call right here, just with those things right here. A brush, a screwdriver, an 11-in-1 meter, a meter to read temperature, right, to get your delta T. Remember delta T, the difference between return and supply, a rag. And with this, you can do a simple maintenance. So I'm not being sponsored by anyone. I'm not about getting really expensive tools, but you can get basic tools that can still do your job, at least in doing a maintenance. So, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back, and we're gonna head inside of the house now. So you see, this is what I mean. I just shove everything in there. There's other backpacks that are more accommodating, but I myself probably am thinking about investing in another backpack. More friendly. I use this backpack for building automation. I would carry my laptop here to program the air conditioning units and then my little hand tools. But now that I have kind of am doing a little bit more HVAC work, I have to be mindful. So, but follow me. Let's go and do that call. So let's go ahead. So one thing that I did do, I already introduced myself. Of course, ask if you need to wear booties going inside of the house. I did already take a ladder. I haven't seen the attic space, but in this specific application, they have, like I said, the indoor unit and the closet, and they have all the ductwork on the attic. So we don't even have to go up in the attic. But I will go just to see how the ductwork is, and you'll see other things that are important when you do a maintenance call that you have to do. So let's come with me, and we're gonna make a right turn right now. This is where the unit is at. Okay. All right. So we're gonna be careful when trying to turn your backpack around. Scratch the walls, right? Okay. So all I've done just so far, I haven't even opened up the unit. I haven't checked the outdoor unit yet. I've just set up my ladder so we can access the ductwork. And then the homeowner did bring this for me just in case we needed to clean the filter. So let's see, we need to clean the filter, right? That's one of the things that I always preach about, ABCs, airflow before charge. Before I even connect my gauges, we're gonna check airflow. That's just the period. We're gonna check airflow. So let's go ahead and come here with me. All right. So let's get a little bit comfortable here. I'm gonna have my light right here, right? I'm all about light. I love light. Okay, so they have, look at the electronic air cleaner they have. These are nice. So inside you have your filter. In fact, these right here, just to kind of show you, these, I actually haven't seen this. You see, electronic air filter. So these are nice. It uses a little bit of like current to clean more of the air, but a lot of this wouldn't matter. You have no airflow in the first place. So what do I mean by that? Well, look at this right here. Let's see how our filter is. And that's why I always say, check the filters, right? Check the filters. So let's see how the filter is. I haven't seen it. So typically in a closet, they have the filter here on the bottom. The ductwork goes up into the attic, and then it goes all over your house, right? So before I open this real quick, remember, you got to check your vents too. So come over here real quick. Go ahead and point at that. So register. You see, you want this open. You don't want it like, you don't want it like that. And you can go ahead and zoom in a bit. You see? And then you see, you want it open, okay? Open. What about this one here? Oh, you see? You see this one here? This one was close. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that. So you're gonna do that all over the house. Make sure all the vents are open. So these right here, I kind of left them so you can see how they were. The rest were already completely open. This one was close. So I wanted to show you that as a technician, you have to come and inform the customers. They have to be all open. And if you want to readjust or balance out the airflow in the house, then you got to do it through the manual dampers up in the attic. Okay, so now we're going to check the filter though, right? So all the supply vents are open. Filter time. Let's find out. Okay, let's see how clean this is. Whoa, look at that. Want to zoom in on that? Look at that right there. Look at that. So this is what kills compressors. This is what messes up your refrigeration cycle, right? And these filters, I'm not a big fan. They call them, I think can't think of the name, but they use them for swamp coolers. These are washable filters. So, but this right here, remember, your air conditioning system wants to pull air in, and then push it out. It can't breathe like this. So then you end up having a lower suction pressure. You might have some liquid going into your compressor. This is what kills air conditioning systems. So what we have to do is clean this, okay? So I'm gonna be cleaning it with the shop vac, in this part though, I am gonna speed it up. But he's still gonna be recording. But in the actual, when I edit, I am gonna speed that up so you don't have to see me cleaning this. I connected. He left the shop back here, and I think he left it for a reason, maybe to clean this. So it worked out. I don't have to go outside and wash it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this. So sometimes, you're doing like 3 or 4 calls, so you're gonna do your best. Try to do what you can. You see, I can see light. So it is a lot better than how it was. If you decide to clean it and wash it, that's fine too. But let's go ahead and put it back, okay? So that's it. We just check the supply vents. They're all open. The filter is clean. Now airflow is good. Now, if that wasn't there, imagine your evaporator coil would have been cooked. You would have to have cleaned it. So, but let's continue with the maintenance, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up here. So they have a gas furnace, okay? And I can tell that because I have gas coming inside. All right, the one thing you do have to check is your condensation to see if it condensates out, right? So they don't have a little air vent here for me. This is a blow through. It is not on the return. If this was on the return, you'd have to put a P-trap, but here you don't. But I still want to make sure that water is going out. So I believe they have it so that I could do it from here. So, but sometimes it might be a little bit more difficult. I got a little tip with this, so I'm gonna just put that back. Not even gonna mess with that. And also try not to mess with this right here, guys. That might be asbestos. Older homes, they would use asbestos. So if you're rubbing and all that dust comes out, that is not good for your lungs. So I'm gonna try to be careful with that in case it's not a popcorn ceiling and it's asbestos. So I'm gonna put this back. So another way that I can check if the condensation is good, if it's condensating, I'm gonna go ahead, make your life easy. Bring your backpack over here so you don't have to be grabbing, coming back and forth. So with the maintenance inside, there's not too much you have to do, just because it is in the closet. It is easier. We are gonna check some of the electrical components, but look what I'm gonna do here. This is a safety switch. I'm gonna go ahead and put water. So in an evaporator, you have a primary and a secondary. So hot air hits this, it reaches dew point, right? It starts to condense. Water comes out from the primary. If this gets clogged for some reason, then water starts to fill up here on the secondary, right? Because this one's a little bit higher, right? I don't know if you can see it on this side. It's a little bit higher. So as that starts to fill up, it's gonna. All right, we're all good. We're back. My brother accidentally pressed a button, but let's go back to this, okay? So so if water races, right, because it cannot drain from here, because it's gonna go to the lowest point first. But if this gets blocked, it's gonna come out from my secondary here, right? So if this goes up, it will shut off the condenser or turn off the thermostat. I don't know how they have it set up here, but what I'm gonna do, just to make sure that it's working, I'm gonna put a funnel and then put some water, and it should not back up. I should be able to hear it coming out through here and condensating. So let's go ahead and put some water. Okay. At this point, I should not see water coming out of that evaporator coil, and it should be coming out and draining through here, which is what I do here right now. So I'm gonna just put in water. You see, if it was clogged in there, it would have filled up, and then we would have had issues. But that didn't happen, so that's good. It's working perfect. All right. So now let's go ahead and open this up, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my my drill and my 5/16. I think this is 1/4 inch. So now that I'm done with this, I have to remind myself to keep this clean here, right? I don't want to create a mess. So let's go ahead and open these up. This is a 1/4 inch right here. Oops. All right. So let's go ahead and open this up right here. So the one thing you're checking when you're here, for sure it would be your capacitor, if it has one. It might be an ECM. Oh, it's not an ECM. How do we know it's not an ECM? Because we have a capacitor for the indoor unit. So at this point, we're gonna be safe. We have to shut off power. So I'm gonna disconnect the power coming here and over here. So it's this one here. I'm just gonna disconnect it. Okay. So I'm gonna confirm that it goes right here. Yep. So this goes to my my unit here. Let's go ahead and get the light over here. All right. So we're gonna check the cap. We're gonna check the connections. It's not that dirty. It's a little dusty right here. So I did bring a little brush. And if not, I can just use a little rag to clean this. That's what you want to do at the end. You could even bring it out here. And then this part here, you can just get your little brush and clean it out. Whatever's easier, right? Make sure you clean this part here. Okay. All right. So we're gonna check that cap right now. So let's go ahead and get my longer bit. Okay. And let's go ahead and check the capacitor. So that is a 7.5 microfarad. All right, so make sure you don't lose the screws, okay? So before I start touching that, remember, these capacitors, they hold the charge. So you're supposed to discharge them. Capacitors, in a way, they're actually like switches. They charge, discharge, charge, discharge. That's all they're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and discharge it by making sure that I arc them to each other or touch them. You can do it another way by getting your meter, putting it on continuity and going from one lead to ground. You can do it that way. But I've been doing it like this for years, at least in residential and light commercial. For years I've been doing it like this and I've been okay, see? So I'm not telling you to put your finger after though. I'm just showing you, look, I'm okay, but I made sure that it was disconnected. I discharged it, right? And then, I'm okay. But still, try to not, touch it with your hand. So if you want to be safe about it, and maybe if you're starting off and you don't want to touch that, there is a way to do it. You just get your needle nose pliers and then pull that, and let's get this. There we go. I didn't even touch that. You see, and I'm grabbing the insulated part of the needle nose. So now we're gonna check microfarads. So you have to, part of your maintenance, you do need a meter, right? That's for sure. So let's go ahead and get my leads here. And I have so many things inside the inside here that it just gets crazy. So I'm gonna put this back right now. But let's get my leads, okay? So let's put it right here. And we're gonna put it microfarad. So we'll go ahead and show them as MFD, microfarads, okay? And then with this one, you actually have to select until you find, there you go, NF. And it's reading nanofarads because I haven't read anything, but after that, it's gonna change to your microfarad. So I'll put it right here, and are you able to see that number, right? Yeah, okay, good. So it's 7.5 plus or minus 6%. So let's see where we're at. Okay, nice, 7.5. That is a 7.5 microfarad. It's within range. Now, of course, if you were to do the math, you got to actually do the 7.5 plus 6%, 7.5 minus 6%, which any phone can do it. And that would be the range of a functioning capacitor. But in this case, it is working right. It is good. 7.5 or solid. So because we're done now with the capacitor, I am going to put it back before I forget. So like I said, I don't even have to touch those. If you feel like maybe you're like, oh, I'm still going to be careful, you can still do it by just grabbing these and just putting it there on one of the leads. Okay. Okay. That's in there, and you can just push in. You see, I haven't touched the top. You can grab this part. And of course, guys, especially if you're starting off, wear your gloves. With me, it's one of those things where I have to be more conscious of, to be honest, wearing gloves. When I deal with commercial, and at times, like heavy commercial stuff, I am wearing my gloves with this. You can still get hurt. Don't get me wrong. You can still get hurt. But I made sure I had no power. I discharged it. And that's about it when it comes to checking something with power on. But yeah, guys, if we're starting off, wear your gloves. Gloves that are very tight. I have some right here. You see, tied to your skin. And what I mean by tied to your skin, like that, it's pretty tight. Because if you get loose gloves, now it's a hazard. It can get caught somewhere. You can get, it can get stuck. So tight gloves. So wear gloves, if possible. So you see, now that's already connected. It's inside, right? I'm gonna go ahead and make sure. I always like to double check, check. Okay. I'm gonna put the cap back, put it right there, and then right there. Okay, there, and then get my screw and put it back. Okay. All right. And then the other thing I'm gonna do right now is okay. So the cap is good. So another thing you want to do when doing a maintenance, you want to make sure all your connections here, and I'll have them zoom in a bit. You want to make sure all your connections are pretty tight right here, right? Okay, so I decided to speed this part up because I was a bit confused. I don't want to bore you, but they basically spliced the original thermostat wire from the existing unit. So they basically didn't run a new 18.5 wire from the board all the way to your thermostat. So this is not a good practice because now you have a potential error of those wire nuts maybe going free or loosening up. But in this case, with the float switch, they're breaking the Y, not the R. So it will stop the cooling if that float switch opens up, but your thermostat will not lose power. So part of the maintenance, another thing, power's off, right? I'm making sure that everything's connected, everything's plugged in. Be careful with you're adding too much pressure here, but plugged in, everything's good, plugged in. Okay, good. And of course, you can check your 3-amp fuse, but your 3-amp fuse is good because the light was flashing. But it's that 3-amp fuse is good. You don't. I'm just showing you guys that you don't have to check it because we did get a light. And then this is important. Make sure that these are pretty tight. Don't go too crazy with them. Just enough where it's. You see, I could have gone a little more of a churn. Okay, and then you do the pull test. Good. Okay. All right. So everything's good. Everything's good. This is on. Everything's plugged in. Everything seems good. So one more thing. This is a furnace. So you're supposed to remove the flame sensor and then clean it. Do not use sandpaper. You see? Let's get that close. Let's get a close up of this. Where's my light? Oh, you see right there? That's dirty. That is dirty right there. So we're gonna use either steel wool, or if you have a dollar bill, you can use that too. I'm gonna get my brother. Put my wallet over here, right on this side. So I'm gonna get my wallet. If not, I'm gonna have to ask my brother. He's the one loaded with Benjamins. But I'll go ahead and take over. He's gonna see if he has a. You wanna check if you have a. Be back. Yeah, that's fine. So he's gonna come back with the dollar bill, and then I'll show you how to clean the flame sensor, and then we'll head outside to show you the condensing unit, and then we're gonna check pressures, and then we'll call it a day. And before that too, check ductwork. See how the ductwork is as well. Okay. All right. So my loaded brother, he couldn't. He didn't have any $100 bills. He left them in his mansion. So, just kidding. He hates me saying that. But I actually didn't have steel wool. And so, but we did get a $20 bill. And you can use this. The material here, I mean, sure, get steel wool. You should have steel wool in your van, and you want to use that to clean this. I don't have it right now, but you can use this, and it's worked just fine. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get the light right here, and then all you're gonna do is just clean it, and you see it's not that bad. It doesn't leave a big residue. And I'll show you how to check the flame sensor with the meter too to make sure that it's working. But okay, so you see, there's some flame sensors that even if you clean it, you just have to replace it at some point. So, but all I'm doing is just cleaning it. And if I rip this $20 bill, my brother's gonna be upset at me. So I gotta be careful here. All right. So I cleaned it. I'm gonna confirm though. I am gonna confirm that it is operating right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back. Okay. Get the screw, which hopefully I did not. You know, this always happens. Okay, I found it. Oof. Sometimes you forget the screw and you lose it forever. So you're gonna go ahead and put that. There we go. Okay, so I decided to speed up this step right here, but I'm basically checking microamps with my meter. That is the symbol UADC, microamps, and so you're looking between 4 or rather 3 to 6 microamps for that flame sensor. I do have a video that just goes over furnaces. It's actually a two-part video. So feel free to go to my channel and I'll show you how to check a furnace from beginning to end using an acronym, TIP Big FB. So check it out if you want to learn more about furnaces. So here I'm just calling for heating and checking that I'm getting good microamps, which I am. I'm getting about 5 after cleaning it. The only thing that I do regret not showing you, and I did check, was the squirrel cage. That squirrel cage where your indoor motor is at could be dirty and have dust, and even a little bit can mess your CFM. But I did check it; it was clean, and that electronic air cleaner, of course, helped out as well. It seemed like that filter took most of the hit. All right, and of course, part of the maintenance too, you're checking that the fluid's in good condition. This is not sweating, it's well insulated, right? It's insulated. You see a little bit of spider webs here. The wires are not nicking, but everything seems to be okay. The fluid is going upward. You got the evaporator coil with the supply plenum going up there, right? And then for these right here, I'm gonna get the phone just real quick, just to show you guys. These, if you ever have a system up in the closet, um, you're supposed to have that right there. You see that mesh? You have access to the actual attic because what happens is that with the gas furnace, it's pulling air this way, right? It's pulling air inward like that, inward. You see, let's see, where you see right here, this part here. So this is gonna need air for combustion for the car for the gas, right? You need flames, you need fuel, you need a spark, and you need oxygen, 3 things. So that panel is gonna go there. If that door closes, if these doors close, it's gotta get air from somewhere, and it gets it from up there. So part of the maintenance up there that has to be clear. You don't want to have that full of insulation. It's gotta get air from somewhere because this remains enclosed right here. Okay, so that was the brief maintenance, at least with this. We checked the filter, right? We checked the cap, everything was well connected, the water was flowing, everything looked good. I'm gonna do a quick test. So I'm gonna give the phone back to my brother, and then I'm gonna go and he's gonna give me the phone right now. I'm just gonna go up just to check the ductwork. So sometimes these right here are really, really white and clean. So if your hands are dirty, you're gonna, dirty them. So just be mindful of that. Oh, that was not too bad. Let's push up. All right, let's check the ductwork now. All right, let's give me the phone. All right, let's see how it is up here. Okay, so I mean, it did say it was a 1,400 square feet home, and the system, they did have it installed. What was it, about 7 years ago? And it does see it. I do see the ductwork. I don't see it too kinked. That one there might be a little issue on that one there. You see this one right there? It's making a hard 90. Ductworks don't like to do that. Let's see over there. So another thing too, you want to make sure they have manual dampers. So I'm checking right here. You see, I don't think they have manual dampers. You would have a little lever coming out so you can manually adjust the damper, but they don't. So at least they have an attic vent, so it removes the heat, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let's see if I can get in there more. And when you're up here, guys, you gotta step on the joist on these. Um, you gotta be careful not to step right there. You'll go through. So on all those joists. That's why doing installs not easy, but it is rewarding at times. So there's my plenum. I don't know if you see it right there with the pink insulation, my plenum, and all the duct is just coming out.
Okay, so at this point, I'm just ensuring that all the ductwork is installed correctly. Those metal straps that you see around those ducts, they should be 4 feet from each other by code. So those metal straps should be about 4 feet from each other to ensure proper airflow to the occupied space. And that seems to be the case with the ductwork that I am seeing here. And I have in mind that the maintenance video that I'm doing here is just to show you how to do an overall maintenance with basic knowledge and basic tools. I could have done a lot more with the furnace, but it's just to kind of give you an idea how to do a light maintenance.
All right, so that's it for the indoor, okay? So what did we need? Right? Because I'm trying to show you how to do a maintenance without needing a lot of expensive tools. You know, you're starting out on the field, it could be a little pricey. It's either pay for tools or pay for rent, right? That's the reality. It's a joke, but it's not a joke because the tools are expensive. But we just cleaned the flame sensor, right, with a $20 bill, my brother's. But yeah, you still will. Um, all we needed was my needle nose pliers, my 11-in-1 screwdriver, my drill, get a good light, my meter, right, and a little and a water bottle too. My water bottle and a funnel. You don't need a funnel, and that's all we needed to do all the maintenance inside right here. And because the system is about 7 years old, it didn't need a lot of heavy maintenance. And then with the shop vac, you can, I could have also cleaned it outside with a little brush. You don't need a shop vac if you don't need it. So now that we've checked airflow, now we're gonna go ahead and go outside, do a maintenance, check pressures, check superheat and subcool. I'm also gonna see if it has a TXV. Okay, so it's a 410A system with the TXV, and you can go ahead and zoom on that right there, just right there. TXV 410A system. Okay, so because of that, we're gonna go outside knowing that it's a TXV, it doesn't have a piston, and then we'll do a maintenance outside. All right. All right, friends. And one thing I did forget to mention inside, after I did the whole maintenance, at least on the heating and some of the connections and condensation to make sure it was condensating. For the heating aspect, because now we're going to be checking the cooling, but for the heating, go to the thermostat and call for heating because you want to make sure you get airflow, right? And you want to make sure you have a good heat rise, the difference between the supply and the return. So I turned it on and the house was heating, but I turned it off because then it's going to start getting a little bit warmer. For the cooling aspect, it has to be at least above, certain manufacturers will say above 70 degrees at least. And right now, fortunately, I had a buddy of mine who gifted me the field piece psychrometer. It reads, all your temperatures, but right now we're reading 75 degrees. So we're in the clear. I would have liked it to be a little bit higher in temperature, but even if that's not the case, you could even cover a little bit of the condenser fan to generate a higher head pressure, because that's important. So, okay, so doing the maintenance outside, if you come a little bit closer, you see inside there's a little bit of leaves, right? A little bit of leaves. It's a little dirty, right? Also here, this is not too bad. Your outdoor coil, you have to wash it from the outside in and inside out. In commercial, you're dealing with two pieces of condenser coils. Those you have to actually like separate and then clean from the inside here, and then inside and out, and outside and in on both coils. But this one is just one, so we don't have to do any of that. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off power, right? So that's power off, okay? But I'm gonna confirm. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my meter, and just to kind of give you guys an example, you don't need that psychrometer. If you get a meter, it comes with the thermocouple here, and you can just put it on Fahrenheit. Put this on. and it tells you what your temperature is just by staying here. Just stay here. And then right here, at least it's reading, what is it, 71. And it dropped in temperature because there's a little bit of wind. I feel it right now. So we might have to, block this a bit to bring up the head pressure. But I was just going to show you that you don't need those expensive tools to do what you got to do. But even though I turn off the disconnect, don't believe that. You don't know if inside someone bypassed a fuse or bypassed something. Don't believe the disconnect. Believe your knowledge and your meter. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and open the panel up. Okay. All right. So this is a pretty simple, as easy as it can get when it comes to a unit right here. Very simple. So actually very, very, very simple because you just got your two wires. You don't even have pressure switches. Look at that. It just got two wires coming in here. You got your high voltage going to your capacitor, condenser fan, and compressor. That's it. This is as simple as I can get. So right now, I'm just gonna confirm we have no power. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect my gauge, my meter here. And the way I do it, you see, you got three wires: line one, line two, and ground. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on volts. Get yourself this. I would invest a magnet for your meter so it can stay in place. It makes your life easier. Make sure it's in VAC. I'm gonna go ahead and check this part here and that part there. Okay, line one and line two. You see, I have 0 volts. Then I'm gonna check line one and then ground. And I'm gonna show you guys. Let me kind of show you right here. You see that ground? Because it's grounded to this, everything's grounded. So I don't necessarily have to touch that lug there. I can touch anything. So gonna give it back to my brother. So that was, I should not be getting 240, and I'm not. So between this one and the ground, if there was power, I would get a 120, but I should be getting zero. Zero, and right here, zero. Okay.
So never trust a disconnect, never trust a breaker. You are always supposed to confirm with your meter. Check line one and two, make sure you have 0 volts, and then check line one to ground and line two to ground. And if you get a 0 volts, then yes, now you can work on the system safely.
So one thing I did notice, it is pretty dirty. So I'm gonna go ahead and the spider webs, you see, just kind of clean that out. Kind of, look at all that. It's all the spider webs, dead spiders, spider eggs, and other stuff that I don't even know what what it is. You don't want any of that stuff. Let me get that spider out of there. You know, side story here. I actually got bit by a black widow. I don't know if it was a black widow, but it was some type of spider, and I actually had to take antibiotics. And my mom was saying, "Oh, it's gonna go away," and no, sure enough, it was on my leg, and even the hair around that part where I got bit, it never grew back. I had to take antibiotics. It was a mess. So yeah, be careful with spiders, guys. Don't get bit. That happened while I was sleeping, though. It wasn't on the job, but still, you don't want to get bit here. So I'm cleaning that, making sure all that's clean. You don't want any of the spider webs to land in here because you got a current going through and you want a nice clean path going through. So part of the maintenance when I do it, or what I do, I go ahead and make sure right here, I make sure that all this is they're pretty tight. And don't break it because you can break it. I've broke them before, but just enough. You see, it's not going more. Okay, that's good. What about the bottom ones? You see, I went half a twist. You see, I still went half a turn. So that one wasn't too tight, but it wasn't bad. And this one, yeah, quarter turn. I'm good. Okay, the wire nuts, make sure they're in good condition. All right, check the cap. So you see this one's a little bit different. This one has three. So if you're starting out in the field, yes, you are gonna take pictures so you can see how to wire it back. Once with experience, you're gonna be able to with the connection or schematic ladder diagram, you're able to see where everything goes where. But starting off, you gotta take pictures, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I already checked. There's no power, but of course, you know, I'm gonna discharge the capacitor. Okay. All right. Good. I want to discharge it. Like I said, don't follow my example, but like I'm gonna check, I'm good, okay? And my students always get upset. What are you doing? Stop, you're just touching it like that. Yeah, I think I gotta stop doing that. But okay, no power, right? I already discharged it. So A little tip here, guys, little tip. Your C, because you see how all that right there is kind of rusty right here, right? So your C is the one with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your Herm for your start winding is 1, 2, 3. It has 3. And then for your condenser fan, it either has 2 or 1. So you see the brown one, condenser fan, it only got two places to put wires on. The C, it has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the Herm, 3 right there. So this capacitor is a 70 plus 5 microfarad, plus or minus 5%. So let's put it on microfarad. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the wires. So let's go ahead and disconnect these wires, right? If you're starting off too, I would just put my yellow ones. If these yellows were over here, put them that way. My brown one was on that one, put it that way. My blue one was over here, put it this way. So you know where everything goes. Okay, so now we're gonna check C and my Herm. It should be 70. So it's 67.62. So it might be a bit low. And the way we're gonna confirm that, thankfully my brother's here because I can use his phone. So I'll show you guys. It said, let's see if we can zoom in on that right there. 70 plus 5. You see the bottom right there, guys? Plus or minus 5%. You see 70 plus or minus 5%. So I'm gonna go to my calculator. I'm gonna put 70 minus 5%, 66.5. 70 plus 5%. So 66.5 and 73.5. That's the range. 66.5 and 73.5. That's the range. And I was at, yep, I'm within range. Because you see, the lowest I can go is 66.5, right? According to that, and I'm at 67.62. So it is getting weaker, but it's still within range. I don't necessarily have to recommend that as a part to replace, but if it's maybe before summer of next year, I probably would replace it. Let's see the 5. So we're gonna check the C, and then the fan over here, 44.9. So what's the range? 5, because it says 5 right there, right? The little one, 5 microfarad, that's for the condenser fan. 5 minus 5%, 4.75. 5 plus 5%, 5 plus 5%. So the range is 4.75 to 5.25. I'm within range. I'm at 4.912 right now. So 5%. Yep. So you see, I'm within range. So I'm good. My capacitor is good. So don't forget to connect that back, right? You can go ahead and connect that again. Okay. All right. So my capacitor is good. I cleaned the all the spider webs, everything there. And then another one, and then this other one here. Okay, so everything's gonna close. So I'm gonna close this one. So make sure it's all tight, right? Not loose, tight, 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 tight. And how many did we have? We only had 1 brown, 2 yellow. Yep, and then the blue. Cool. So now I'm gonna close it because we're gonna clean it.
Okay, so now I close the panel, right? And I have to close that panel because I don't want that electrical part there getting wet. So at this moment here, I'm removing the condenser fan. I did ensure the disconnect is off, which I already had confirmed. I noticed that my wires there going to my condenser fan, it's pretty tight. So then I went back to the electrical part, and some guys like to remove those wires completely and remove the condenser fan. Me, I was able to just get this done, but just loosening up the wires, getting more slack, as you can see. And so then now I get my dustpan and clean all the debris and leaves that are inside. And then now I have to put my tools away, or at least to the side, so they don't get wet. I put that panel back, right, keeping the electrical part of there dry, and then I'm using the water hose to go from the outside in and also from the inside out, and also washing out all that nasty water, dirty water on the floor so it doesn't get sucked back in by the condenser fan.
All right, so by now I've let the system run for about 7 minutes. You guys saw what I did. I cleaned it to the best of my ability with what I got: a hose, a little wire brush. The idea is that you don't want any obstruction, and you want to be able to reject heat, right? So now I got my S-man. So we'll have you come a little bit closer now. Part of the maintenance too that I do, I make sure that these right here are tight and they're not too loose. So you see, maybe another turn. You don't want them too tight because then you won't be able to read the pressures. Because the idea is that you have a core depressor here and a little valve core. As you push in, you're able to access it. So if it's too tight, then that's not gonna help out. On this side too, I'll do it. Okay. So now I'm gonna connect my gauges. So be careful not to drag them. You don't want to introduce water or moisture or non-condensables inside. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. Now, not everyone can start off with wireless probes. And I mean wireless probes because wireless probes there are better when checking the system because every time I connect these, I am, losing some refrigerant a bit, right, into my hoses. But we don't. A lot of us don't start off like that. They're expensive, so I'll show you how to use them with these. Or if you're using analog gauges too, just your regular analog gauges, you can do those too. So I like to close the ball valve, make sure everything's pretty tight. I'm gonna put it here on the suction line. So, all right, that's closed. I'm gonna close this and then connect it there. Okay. Now this is a 410A system, so I'm gonna go ahead and open them up. Okay. All right. So I will say this. This system, by looking at the model number, and I have a video how you can do that, right? Go into the model, checking the model number for what tonnage system it is. The occupied space where it is cooling is about, not counting the garage because there's no cooling going in the garage. It's about 1,200 square feet. This unit here is a 4 ton, and a four tons about 1,600 square feet, and so it is a little bit oversized. That I did notice. It is a bit oversized. So we'll see what numbers we get. But so far we're looking pretty good though by looking at this, and I'll show you right now. So even though it's a bit oversized, you might have the system turning on off a lot. But I mean, it's already installed and we're here to do the maintenance. So come over here and I'll show you. Okay. Let's see. Are you able to see pretty good right there? All the numbers? Okay. So it's a 410A system. My suction pressure is 114. When you convert that to temperature, we have a 38-degree evaporator temperature. My head pressure is 260. You convert it to your condensing to a temperature is 86 degrees condensing temperature. That looks pretty good. What I'm looking at is my superheat and subcool. So my suction line temperature is 50 degrees and my liquid line temperature is 74.2. Look at my superheat. It's a TXV. It's maintaining a superheat of between 8 to 14. I'm at 12. That looks great. That looks great. But for a system with the TXV, you're looking at subcool. Look at my subcool. That's telling me that I have enough liquid column behind the liquid, and I'm getting a subcool of 12 degrees, which is condensing temperature minus my liquid line temperature. I have a 12-degree subcooling. So looking at this, it looks like it's good in charge. It is. And we're still going to check delta T inside. But my superheat suction line temperature 50 minus my evaporator 12 degrees. So this system is operating pretty good right now. And you can tell if a system is like on a hot day, if it's hot and you're calling for cooling, if this is not hot, you got an issue. Because on a hot day, and you're trying to cool the system, this should be pretty hot because you're rejecting a lot of heat. But the house isn't too hot inside. It's about 74 degrees. So it's hot, but it's not too hot, right? So I like what I'm seeing. So let's go ahead and get our delta T. So for that, give me 1 second. Let me get my temperature gun. Okay. All right. So follow me. So I like what I'm seeing out here. So we're going to check the difference right now. Okay. So right now we're going to check the difference between the return and the supply temperature. So for heating, heat rise is the difference between the supply minus the return. And certain furnaces, it's about 40 to 65 degree difference. You can heat a house pretty well with the gas furnace, but for cooling, Your delta T, which is the difference between the return and the supply, is about 18 to 21. Go to Florida, it's about 9 degrees. And that's okay because a lot of that cooling goes to removing moisture out of the air. But here in LA, at least when it's not that humid, we're doing more sensible cooling. Your temperature, the number of the return, if you get 80, you get an actual 60 coming out because you're doing more sensible cooling, not so much laden. But let's get our return. So we got about 72, right? 72. It's not too bad. Now, if you do have a system where it's up there and you have a long return duct, I mean, it would be nice to go closer to where the return is at, but sometimes you can. You got to get it from the return grill. But we're reading 72. Okay, so there's a supply vent here, if you recall, right? I'm going to go ahead and check it right here. Okay, look at that. 51. So 72 minus 51, what is that? That's 21, right? 72 minus 52, that's 20. So about 21-degree delta T. The system is working great, even though it's a bit oversized, but at least for the way it's operating, with the things that are already installed, I mean, it's working great. So we have a good superheat, good subcool, and a good delta T. So this system is doing great. It didn't have much in regards to maintenance besides checking the capacitors and making sure we clean the coils. But let's head outside. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing right now. All right, friends. So I do like what I saw inside. A good delta T. We come back to our just see our numbers here. My superheat 14. The TXV is adjusting. It's working great. My subcool is at 12. So yes, it's a TXV system. We're looking at subcool more. So we have about a 12-degree subcool. So our system's working great. I'm very happy with it. Now you might not be able to start off with S-mans. You know, these are pretty pricey. So what you can do is if you have analog gauges, you can connect those, right? And make sure you have ball valves. And let's see if we can get a little closer here. Make sure you have ball valves, because if you're just connecting your red hose straight there, when you take it out, you're gonna have a lot of refrigerant coming out. You wanna be careful with that. So have a ball valve. You can have those low loss fittings. There's different ones. But let's say you don't have analog gauges, digital gauges, and you only have analog. Well, with your meter, you can just buy this temperature clamp separately. So you get your analog gauges, you connect it to the system, and you can still get subcool and superheat, right? My meter, temperature clamp, connected right there. And let's say with your analog gauges, it's just hypothetically speaking, this is analog gauges. You convert your high side pressure into a temperature, 90 degrees, minus your liquid line temperature, 77, about a 12, 13 degree subcool. So you see, I'm able to do that. I don't need to get these to be able to check superheat and subcool. I can do it with a meter and the temperature clamp, right? So just a little tip, right? I know that when you're starting off, it's a bit hard. You're starting off, you're trying to get your tools. Tools are expensive, and it's either pay for groceries or rent or spend a lot of money on tools. So it's like you're trying to buy one tool at a time, maybe once a month or once a week. Everyone's circumstances are different. But you see, with today's job, the maintenance call, let's do like a little recap. Do you remember all the things that we did? We checked the filter, the supply vents were open. We checked the ductwork, the flame sensor, we cleaned it. I did check the squirrel cage, and I did forget to show that. But the squirrel cage, you're seeing if there's any lint, any dust. Sometimes it's so dirty you do have to remove it and clean it outside. But it was in good condition. All the wires were connected. All my capacitors were working well. Everything was well. For my delta T right now in cooling, I'm getting about 21 degrees. I was able to do all that with just tools that are not that expensive. So what tools did I need? A little pan. What do they call these? Just to sweep. A dustpan. So like this was about $2-3. 11-in-1 screwdriver. This was about $20 on Amazon. They actually call it an HVAC 11-in-1. It's got the Schrader removal. So this is good too. A temperature gun that I got for about $50 a couple years ago. A brush that was what, $3. a towel just to clean a little bit. You saw the duct tape to close to push that door switch, but you can get the magnetic one they have online, or really any magnet that just holds that door switch in place. A little funnel that was about $3, a water bottle to check if it condensates right, a good meter, right? Temperature clamp. In this case, I have my S-Mans, some analog gauges, if that's all you can get at the moment. And you don't even have to get an M18 or Milwaukee brand, just an impact, just to open and close. So we were to do a full maintenance, and thankfully this system doesn't need really any major repairs, service costs. I'm not gonna go to the customer and say, you need a new unit. It's too old. It's already 7 years old. We don't want to be doing that. We're better than that. So this system is still running strong, and so I'm happy with it. So now I can go and inform the customer that their system's running strong, good delta T, my subcool and superheat are great. So friends, I really hope that today's video helped you out. You were able to get a lot of tips. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I'll do my best when I have time to respond to those questions, but all of you are capable and have the ability to do a good maintenance system on any air conditioning systems that that you're working on. So friends, I really hope that this video helped you out, and I think my brother wants to say something. What was that?
What's HVAC?
You see? That's crazy. I can't believe he just said that. All right, well, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.